All right. Welcome back, you Inglorious Bastards, the magnificent. It is I, Dr. Mo, and we're back for my thought of the day. And I gotta change. Why do it always changes the settings on this thing for me. Like, you guys listening to me, I know this doesn't affect you at all, but it keeps shutting off. There we go. My backlight. Like, don't shut off my backlight. That should be automatically on. But now we're getting into my thought of the day, and we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about Biden and the administration becoming Chauvin trial, jury attending protests, like that being a farce, and the ongoing Asian hate. And we're going to pick something random of like something in the last little while, and we're going to talk about that because I like doing new news, or let's just say in current news, and sometimes doing local news, like small things that big media don't cover. Like we might even try and figure out what's going on with the Epstein thing, because nobody has been talking about that since we've been there. But now is that show where we gonna ask for you to like, subscribe, share, subscribe, do all those nice things to boost us up in the algorithm and help beat that censorship machine. We're gonna continue going no matter what. That's why we have our platform at www.thatsomepoint.squarespace.com. You can go there and you can contribute to us directly. It's the best option forward. But anyway, we're all in this battle for free speech, all in this battle for our rights together, and only you can help us beat that censorship machine. Only we together can help beat that censorship machine. There's a promo going. One subscriber is gonna get we're gonna choose them at random, but it's gonna get the Like a Government shirt. And it's gonna so we're reaching out at the end of the month and asking for like stuff for that. But we're gonna talk about the fucking president of the United States. I can't believe this dude won. But let's get right into here. Get right into this first segment. Boom! Biden admin mulls partnering with private firms to monitor extremists. I mean, that's it. The Biden administration is reportedly considering contracting outside firms to track extremist chatter online in order to circumvent legal restrictions on the surveillance power of federal agencies like the Department of Homeland Security. While the move would expand the government's intelligence gathering capability, it would also add fuel to the widespread criticism of the government's vast surveillance power and spawn possible legal actions over monitoring of Americans, CNN reporting, citing sources. The DHS is limited in its ability to surveil Americans on social media sites without strong justification and is prohibited from using false identities to get access to private messaging apps used by groups like Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, the report said. Like, why? The Oath Keepers are not terrorist organizations. If the people that are keeping the oath of the Constitution of America above all else are considered terrorists, our government is beyond help.
Winning? No.
It just really is. It's beyond help at that point. The federal government is only allowed to browse for the public information on platforms like Facebook and Twitter. Yeah, the public information that you put out public. I mean, if you put it out on the internet and you put it out publicly and it's there for all to see and it's used against you in a court of law, that's your own fucking fault. You had the right to remain silent, and you probably should have exercised it. To get around those restrictions, the federal government is reportedly weighing and listing outside entities that can legally encounter these groups and gather information. Working with these companies would allow the Department of Homeland Security, or the NEF, the Nazi Enforcement Force, to better analyze trends and provide more real-time information for its use, and for the NEF, which also is unable to surveil U.S. citizens without first getting a warrant or providing some overreaching justification like a previous investigation. I mean, you should have to have a fucking warrant. That's the Fourth Amendment right? You fucking pieces of shit.
You suck!
The NEF and the Nazi Enforcement Agency are under similar restrictions. They should be. Everyone should be. Even private companies should be. They have too much fucking power. The idea comes as the NEF came under heat for compelling reports of journalists and unmasking private citizens during last year's protests in Portland. It also comes in the wake of failures to track down one federal agencies about the scope of the January 6th U.S. Capitol riot that led to the Capitol Police and other law enforcement agencies being overwhelmed by the mob. Capitol Police and other law enforcement agencies were not overwhelmed by the mob on the Capitol riot or the Capitol insurrection or whatever you want to call it. They opened the door and let these bitches in. There's a tension between wanting to empower NEF's intelligence office to do this kind of work around domestic terrorism on the one hand, and then on the other hand, misuse of its capabilities during the summer of 2020 gives a lot of people on the Hill pause when it comes to potentially giving them new authorities, capabilities, or resources, a Senate aide told the CNN. They were violating people's rights all fucking summer. The government needs to be torn the fuck down. All these people need to be fired, and we need to put new people in. The system is fucking broken. They let a jury that they haven't arrested yet, that lied, which is perjury, that said he didn't attend these fucking George Floyd riots onto this fucking Chauvin trial, even though there's fucking video of him attending the motherfucking riots. I mean, don't get me wrong, Chauvin's guilty of negligence. If you don't fucking check somebody's health for 8.5 minutes when they're in your custody, you're fucking negligent. But that trial was an absolute farce. We'll get into that, though.
No.
There's only limited awareness before January 6th on what violent extremists were planning through social media. Tom Warwick, a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council who served as NEF Deputy Assistant Secretary for Counterterrorism Policy from 2008 until 2019, told CNN. He said he would expect NEF to work outside contractors to track online plots, but added that whatever gets approved and implemented has to comply with established laws. While much of the planning for the January 6th riots happened out in the open on social media platforms, an increasing number of people to encrypted apps that allow them to hide their intentions and to thwart law enforcement agencies. Tracking on those sites require getting access to private groups.
You suck!
And by the chat it hits Facebook or Twitter, it's usually too late, the NEF official told CNN. Domestic violent extremists are really adaptive and innovative. We see them not only moving to encrypted platforms, but obviously coaching their language so they don't trigger any kind of red flag on any platforms or office apps. Our system is set up this way on purpose. So not violent extremists, but freedom fighters, because you're the Nazi enforcement agency, can fucking... We're becoming a fascist, totalitarian mess. And it's definitely not winning. We need to figure out how to unfuck this, and we need to unfuck quick. I'm just saying.